very painful trigger. There are very painful processes that we are going through, but I believe in myself that the bigger event that is occurring and the more lasting is the awakening that's happening all over the place. I'll just go right to my favorite new factoid that I read about, and I keep reading more about, and I barely understand, so I'm going to just talk out my ass, and you should look it up, and you will know more than me quickly if you do. There's a name for the resonant frequency from the core of the Earth. It's dubbed the Schulman resonance. This German scientist, whoever Schulman, first gave his name to, when they first measured basically the heartbeat of the Earth, right? So, anyway, the Schulman resonance, since it's been being recorded, has been holding steady at 7.8 hertz or something, super subsonic. It has to do with the relationship between the outer atmosphere and the energy of the Earth, and the lightning discharges that are that energetic release between this organism that we're a part of and its skin, and anyway, around the last fall, the resonant frequency started shifting, and then in January, sudden change. Now the Earth heartbeat is at 36 hertz, which is almost audible. There is an incredible sudden increase in frequency, which can mean distress, it can mean awakening, and I think it does. I think those two things go hand in hand, and I believe, so since the dawn of human thinking, consciousness, ancient yogis in India have been equating this Schulman resonance with human consciousness. Modern brain scientists have correlated the frequencies of the resonant frequencies of the Earth with brain frequencies, and that we are in tune, or we are unhealthy, we are sick, we are going crazy. So, is this also an awakening of humankind? I believe so, and I believe if we can hold to the faith in that, and just get on board with that, we have an incredibly powerful time with incredible potential that we're living in. This is a beautiful opportunity that we have. The shit is out in the open, the shit is in everybody's face, and now we have an opportunity to react.
Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. So when your first record came out in a very dark time, which I feel like was a very similar kind of time to right now, during that Reagan-Bush era, and there was a reaction there, almost like a call and response. And I feel like, in this new record, there is that where are my sisters, where are my brothers? Are you calling out in a similar type of a way for that sense of affirmation, for that sense of we are now need to pull together? Because I feel that through line goes throughout a lot of your music, that there is this need to make contact with something that no one is talking about, that they think about in the middle of the night, or in their most private moments, and you're searing through and saying, I'm here, I'm listening to. Is that some of that coming through the new record?
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah, totally. I thank God that my youngest kid is now 4, because I'm out of the weeds, and I get to go back outside, and I get to talk to people, and it's a good time, to be there. And I've always, and for me, it doesn't feel accidental, like none of it ever has. I feel like my inner life and my outer life, the life of my society, has been so connected every step, and I think that kind of comes through my writing, how the political and the personal is like scarily one thing at every step. So yes, I think though this record I wrote before the election. And that's another thing that I've been meditating a lot on is the non-linear aspect of time, you know, because people have been saying, well, these songs that apply to now were written before this political now, and, you know, which just sort of makes me more deeply aware that there is no before and after, you know. We are subconsciously, there's an eternal now, and I think when we make art, you know, that's the place we go, you know, to a place that is not of time. I've noticed over the course of my songwriting life, which has been like 30 some years now, that songs are often have premonitions, you know, because they are not of time in that way. So yes, I'm calling out in these songs. I feel so, I mean, anybody who texts me now, I'm like, come to my house. Sit down with me. Let's talk. Let's figure this shit out. Who are you? Come to my house. I'll go to your house. We do now. We live in the same town now. So this is good. I want to get together with everybody. I want to talk about it. I want to figure it out together. I think, you know, these things are bringing us together, you know, if we allow it to, and I feel very, very grateful for that.
So, you know, that reminds me of something Elvis Costello said, that he used to write lyrics about people that he didn't know, and then he would meet those people. But I also feel like there is a strand of the uncomfortable that is, you know, that I'm not an angry girl, but there's the righteous babe idea of, I'm going to be the million that you never make. I'm going to be independent. I'm going to be this new force in the world that cannot be bought, cannot be sold. In a moment right now where you have Spotify and you have no more DVDs. I remember when the Mac computer came out and there was no more slot. And as a filmmaker, I was like, oh my God, I'm totally just went out of business. You know what I mean? Because you can't sell any more CDs and DVDs. What does that mean to be the independent artist now in that new type of a landscape? You understand what I'm trying to say? Because so much of it had to do with your own commerce, your own business, your own way of making your way in the world. Are those opportunities greater now or lesser in your mind?
I mean, I think they're just different. It's just a different landscape, but it's the same job, it's the same work, and it's really done the same way in a sense. I mean, I think back in the day, like on my first tape, you know, I sort of changed up that record company warning that they all write on their shit, you know, and I wrote, you know, back in 1990s, unauthorized duplication, while sometimes necessary, is not as good as the real thing, you know, and that's always been the righteous babe credo, and that's how my audience built itself, by taping my tapes, and that's the organic way that art moves through the world, and so that's okay. It has gotten to an extreme that is definitely made things, you know, challenging for artists, especially when you're not sort of at a strata above worry of where your next paycheck is coming from. You know, music is free and all of this, but I guess I just keep distilling back to the essence of music. In its essence is a social act, you know, not a commodity. And I've always focused my energy that way, like I'm a working musician and I play for people in time and space, and that can't ever be commodified or changed or bought or co-opted, you know. That just is an eternal thing that people do with each other. So that I will always see as my job. And the records, do they sell in stores? Do they sell at all? Is it just, I've always thought of that as sort of, you know, the droppings that the herd leaves. Like, records for me are not the point, you know, but so I think, you know, it sort of feels like a big full circle to me, where my bread and butter started out being just playing for people, and it still is. It is once again. And the records, whether they sell or not, I have to believe that